Welcome back to Showcase. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the '07 Autobots, Jazz, Ironhide, Optimus Prime, Ratchet, and Bumblebee. But before we get started, big thanks to the Blue Kid Ivan for requesting this video. If you've got any requests, leave them down in the comments and we'll try to get to all of them. Moving on to weapons, Ironhide has his arm cannons, and Bumblebee has his battle mask and hand cannons. Moving on to transformations, starting with Bumblebee, laying flat, head in, hood up, arms into place, legs up, feet up, bring the top of the car up, and we have Bumblebee in his car mode. Next up, Ratchet, lay him flat, head in, hood up, move the arms into place, bring the legs up, fold the roof over, and we have Ratchet in his ambulance mode. Next up, Optimus Prime, move the arms into place, bring the hood out, head in, legs up, feet down, fold the rest of the hood out, extend the back of the truck, bring the wheels into place, bring up the rest of the cab, and we have Optimus Prime in his truck mode. Next up, Ironhide. Lay him flat, head in, hood out, arms into place, bring the guns up to form the exhaust stacks, legs up, and we have Ironhide in his pickup truck mode. Finally, Jazz. Lay him flat, head in, arms into place, legs up, feet in, and we have Jazz in his car mode. Moving on to lore. When I write the lore for these videos, it's always a struggle fitting these guys into one big universe with every other bot across the franchise. Sometimes it's simple with someone like Voss, who really only has one major incarnation, but when it comes to a group like the '07 Autobots, they're all just slightly different incarnations of the G1 version, so it gets a bit tricky. So I hope you'll all be okay with these guys having a completely different story from the movies. After the First Great War, there was a long era of peace. Sparks were forming again, so many that the spark fields became overcrowded. Crowded to a point where some sparks weren't even able to forge bodies for themselves. The Autobot Council decided to construct bodies for them instead. These bots would be known as being constructed cold, meaning their sparks were implanted into generic frames. Over time, this created a class divide. Forged bots looked down on bots that were constructed cold, and the bots that were constructed cold were given the more dangerous jobs. During this time, the Decepticons were exiled on one of Cybertron's moons. They noticed the growing hostility on Cybertron, and began secretly orchestrating another war. This is where we meet Optimus and his crew. They were dock workers, all constructed cold. There was Optimus, who led the crew, Ironhide, who had been there the longest, and as a pastime, started upgrading their welding tools to make them more efficient. There was Ratchet, who slowly trained himself to be the group's medic, Jazz, who was the smallest of the group, so handled all the tight repair jobs inside ships, and finally Bumblebee, who was the newest, recently brought online. They were content enough in the docks, but some of the other workers began reading Decepticon propaganda and slowly turning to their side. Eventually, an uprising began. At first, the Autobot Council didn't see it as a serious problem. It was localized to one district. But over the coming weeks, the revolution spread. It took over more and more industrial sectors. As it grew and became more violent, not all bots agreed with it, including Optimus and his crew. Realizing the extent of the revolution, the Autobot Council began allowing bots who were constructed cold to join the Autobot military. Optimus and his crew enlisted, hoping this would finally lead to better treatment for their kind. This was when the Decepticons returned from their exile on Cybertron's moon. They took over the revolution and selected a revolutionary leader to become the face of the movement. He renamed himself Megatron, after the greatest of the Decepticon leaders. With the new Decepticon reinforcements, the revolutionaries grew bolder, and began attacking more and more Autobot bases. Till eventually, they attacked the training base where Optimus and his crew were stationed. The recruits began retreating as Megatron led his forces in, killing as many as possible. Optimus and his crew tried to pull back, until he realized someone was missing, Jazz. He turned and saw Megatron grabbing him. Bumblebee ran in, trying to save him, but was shot in the neck by one of the revolutionaries, Hardtop. Optimus charged in, but he was too late. Megatron ripped Jazz in half. Optimus tackled Megatron to the ground, and a fight broke out. Megatron managed to gain the upper hand, but before he could land a killing blow, Autobot reinforcements arrived, and he ordered a retreat. When the dust had settled, Optimus had a major wound to his side. Bumblebee's head was barely hanging onto his body, and Jazz was dead. But the recruits who saw Optimus stand against Megatron were inspired, and the Council saw an opportunity. They made Optimus the next Prime. This would incidentally start the tradition of some future Primes taking up the name Optimus. With a bot who was constructed cold as Prime, the lower classes rallied, enlistment numbers skyrocketed, and some revolutionaries even defected. The Decepticons, seeing the tide turning, returned to the moon, leaving their new army behind. Megatron tried to keep the revolution alive, but without experienced leadership, he couldn't hold it together. The Autobots would storm his makeshift base. Optimus wanted to take him alive, but someone shot him. An investigation followed, but no culprit was ever found. With the war over, the Council sent Optimus on a final tour for the lower-class districts to encourage unity. Optimus believed he could finally change things, that he could get equal rights for his people, that they'd be able to leave the dangerous jobs they'd been forced into, and that things might truly improve. But then, Optimus was shot in the head during his tour and was killed instantly. His dream would be realized many years later, but most bots of his era wouldn't live to see it. Ironhide stayed with the Autobots, serving in the military until he was too old to continue. He later became head of the Autobots Armory. Ratchet became a renowned doctor, and never stopped believing Optimus' death was an inside job by the Autobot Council. Bumblebee left the army and joined a revolutionary group. He was eventually killed during a protest. On Siege World, Jazz became a musician, often playing in Swerve's bar. Ratchet became a traveling doctor, helping any bot in need. Ironhide joined another Autobot unit, returning to his main interest when he was younger, weapon creation. Bumblebee settled down in a neutral town, trying to stay out of the Autobot and Decepticon conflicts, and Optimus settled in a small city, working with local leadership to make sure bots with prejudice against his people would never gain power. And that's the 07 Autobots. Jazz has been recolored into Smokescreen. The rest have a ton of recolors. When I made my 2007 and Revenge of the Fallen sets, I turned every recolor into a new character. So there's probably around 50 recolors kicking around. I've been trying to expand the lore recently and explore more serious themes, so I hope you guys are liking it. Next time, we're going to be taking a look at another combiner, Bruticus.